So it was a sad day when Antonia left last year. We were not able to have the course, but this year we decided to have it virtual course in memory of Antonia. As I was saying about the Women's Council, that it has done extraordinary work in the Asia-Pacific region. And we ourselves have been hugely privileged in working with them for the last 20 years. We are, as you know, been working with disabled population of our country and also of the Asia-Pacific region. So we have actually managed, as I mentioned before, more than 350 to 400 participants from the Asia-Pacific region. So TWC and ADAPT, they have a strong presence and the only presence in Asia on disability. I have a great pleasure in now welcoming someone who's the president. And we're very fortunate that Lady Doris Butterworth is with us. And I can't see her. I'm not sure if the camera is on Doris. Is Doris there? Maybe she's not yet coming. Do we have Lady Doris here at the moment? So maybe she'll come in a little later, at which point I think I would like to call in the chairman of Women's Council, who's held this course together with a lot of hard work and effort. I just wanted to add that all the Women's Council give their support, work, time, effort, completely honorary basis. And we really do appreciate Pat, who has been an excellent writer and journalist and a communicator, and has worked many years outside England. I can't even see Pat, as Pat arrived, and in Hong Kong. So I would very much like to welcome Pat. Is Pat here also? So I know that Pat is keen to be here, and so we may come back to them. But I think that I saw my friend Francis Moore, who was very well known also in India, and specifically with the ADAPT course. Because Francis has all her life dedicated her work on the ground level. She has worked for many, many years in the Middle East. She's worked in Nepal, all over India, and she is, of course, the instrumental in actually beginning this course in the Asia-Pacific region. I would like Francis to say a few words if and when she comes. I think that Francis too is, I'm a bit surprised about that because, you know, the British are always extremely punctual. So I'm not sure if we've actually missed out Lady Butterworth.
But I saw Dr. Rajni is here.
Yeah,
Dr.
so I'm
Rajni,
coming to Rajni, yeah. But I'm surprised that Doris and Francis and Pat are not covered. Anyway, I'll just move on. We're very pleased also to welcome Dr. Rajni Rijal of the Women's Council. Rajni was the vice chairperson and is actually a doctor. She's a dentist and has a very flourishing dental clinic in England, London, and has just joined us and has been a great friend. She's been treating children and adults with special needs, particularly, and that's the great forte, and that, Rajni, will be an excellent input into our work, and I would actually now, Rajni, I will call you in a little later because I've just seen the
Hello.
chairperson, Pat Yaxley, joining us. I once again ask if Lady Doris is here. So, well, technology, and this is what will be. But Pat, I'm happy to ask you to please join me in welcoming the participants of this course. I think I did mention earlier that this course has been dedicated to our friends Antonia Derry, who passed away. And I'm very, very pleased that so many members of her organization, the Women's Council, have been able to come in and attend the meeting. And I particularly want to say, Pat, that it's been a great pleasure for me to work with you. Pat Yaxley, I request you to come in.
Thank you, Mitu. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. You were at capacity and I had to wait for an adjustment. But as you say, in these days, technology, we just have to live with it, don't we?
Yeah,
and I would have to say how lovely it is to be with you all to attend what I think is a rather special inauguration. Along with me too, invite everyone, our friends and colleagues everywhere, to share our excitement. Because this is your 20th anniversary, but it's also in many ways our own.
Yeah.
If you remember, it was at the turn of the century that ADAPT and the Women's Council were introduced to each other. That's
Yes,
the state of practice more. And the decision, of course, to develop a course in inclusion was very exciting, but it was also something of a leap in the dark for us all. Would it be something that caught everyone's imagination? Would Women's Council be able to continue to support it in the way that we would hope to do? Well, the years have shown me to worry. Over the years, one of the things which has struck us all at Women's Council is the way in which the content of the course has been allowed to develop and adapt to changing needs. Thanks to Dr. Allah's energy and her enthusiasm and a dedicated staff. People who have been on the course in the past have also played their part in that their comments and suggestions have been absorbed as well and have frequently influenced significant changes. Obviously, in the last 2 years, there have been many restrictions because of COVID, and that's had a severe impact. But it's, I think, a case of negatives being turned into positives. And new online opportunities have been seized upon, hence today's special inauguration. We have been glad to play a part in all this. And on behalf of us all, I wish those of you who are taking part in this course every success. To all of you on the staff at ADAPT. Yeah. May you all flourish and good luck to you all. Thank you very much, Mitu.
Thank you so much. Those inspiring words really spurs us on. And may I just once again, to the point of perhaps boredom, but just say that, you know, as far as funds and anything is concerned, the most important thing is relationships. And it's been wonderful for me to work with you, Pat. and I really value our relationship. Thank you very much, Pat, for being here
Very much for your
as chairman of Women's Council. Is the president here? Or? All right, so we move on to the vice chairman, Dr. Rajni Vijay, who I did tell you that has got a special interest in special needs children and adults. And I've just got to know you, Rajni, and are absolutely thrilled to bits that you're going to work with us. Dr. Rajni Rijal.
Good afternoon, Dr. Mithu Didi. Thank you very much for your warm introduction as well. I have to say it is a huge pleasure to be here this afternoon to join you all to this wonderful inauguration ceremony. Thank you so much for inviting me. It is really uplifting to see all the participants that have come from a broad range of backgrounds. It was wonderful to read all the lovely briefings of all the participants. And I will say that you are all going to bring together a wealth of experience and a very common aim. And that is to make a difference in the lives of children that are living with a disability. We truly admire your dedication and truly admire the dedication of Mithu Didi and her wonderful team who have got together to put together such a wonderful cause. So thank you so much. And I just wanted to say that it's lovely to see that many of the participants this year are coming from, have personal attachments to family members that are living with, say, autism, dyslexia, visual impairment, and you're going to bring a lot of your own experience to this course as well, which is very heartwarming. It was also refreshing to read that one of the participants is actually following in her own mother's footsteps 14 years on. So that will be very interesting to see how you go back and help in your mother's school. So very well done. Okay, the other thing I would also like to say is that be this a virtual course, this will give you an opportunity to all come together from far and wide in the safety of your own homes and still being very close to your loved ones. And another advantage of this virtual course is that you will be able to go on to implement what you have learned almost immediately because you're in your own environment. And I feel that brings an advantage because you will be able to share your successes and you will be able to share your challenges almost immediately, be able to receive feedback from the wonderful team that are going to be training you. So a very plus point of having a virtual course. And I'm sure you're going to learn numerous skills that are going to have a huge impact on the lives of all those that matter. So on behalf of everyone at the Women's Council, committee members, and all the hundreds of members that are very happy to support this wonderful training course, wish you all the very best in the coming weeks as you embark on this wonderful journey of learning and forming new friendships. And thank you very much. Very well done to all of you.
Thank you so much, Rajni. It's been wonderful knowing you, albeit a short while. But I think that you as a doctor, a professional, will add a new element to the course. And I look forward to working with you. Thank you so much, Rajni.
Thank
We
you.
have another old friend here who was actually the chair of Women's Council long ago, I think. Her name is Caroline Muir. She's now, of course, in the Women's Council, also in FIWAL Advisory Committee, and is most interested in the developing countries, and especially in India. So, Caroline, may I ask you to give a message to the participants, and thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. Thank you very much indeed for the kind invitation. And I think both Pat and Rajni have said everything I would like to say. I've been very much out of the loop for many years on the course, but it has always seemed to me to be a very wonderful endeavor, because enabling the disabled to become part of society is one of the most important things that anyone can do. You should not be shut out of any sort of form of employment, education, or anything else, or social life, because one has a physical disability. And I can only congratulate ADAPT for what they have done for this wonderful course. And I can only echo the words of Rajni and Pat, but we at TWC are delighted to be able to support it. And hopefully I will do my best to help as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for coming in for this meeting. And I'm so glad that we did get a chance to connect up after many years in London this year. Are we still waiting for Lady Doris? Pat, have you heard anything?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, so I'm just going to carry on and call in one of the major architects of from Women's Council, and that is Dr. Frances Moore, who has been with us for many years and was instrumental in actually putting us all together. Frances has also been for many years on the ground level. She was director of Save the Children and has worked with the Middle East, all over India, and especially with us. And the main thing about her is that she's very, very meticulous. She's quite innovative in suddenly coming up with new ideas for us. So it would be not correct if I didn't say that she was really instrumental in fashioning the syllabus, the curriculum, and her love for the course, her love for the students has been quite extraordinary. Is Frances here? May I request Frances to just say a few words before you're called in to talk about TWC. Frances Moore. I thought I saw Frances earlier. Okay. So I'm just moving on a little bit because I see my partners here from the, I think before I call the Satellite Hub partners, may I call one more person who's going to be working with us and has sent an excellent video, and that is Rachel Tant. Can we have Rachel's video, please? Rachel is a disability specialist again, and a physiotherapist, and has done many years of work in Tajikistan, over 8 years, in the creation of family centers and baby homes. She's involved in a number of projects, both in the UK and internationally, to enhance community services. So may I request you all to please put Rachel's video on, because she was unable to join us live. Rachel Tans, Honorary Advisor to the Training Program, Women's Council.
Dear Dr. Allure and all the guests that are present for the Inclusion Matters course opening, I'd like to add my welcome to you and congratulations to the team at ADAPT for creating this course. I think it's going to be a really useful, interesting course, and I know that you're going to enjoy discussing lots and lots of pertinent issues together, particularly around the issues of disability and inclusion and supporting families who have children with additional needs. We know it's been a really difficult time over this COVID time, and I really hope that this course will bring some light into your lives as you learn new things, as you make new friends, as you enjoy being with each other, and also thinking about the light and the impact that you're going to create as you work out practically in your situations the impact of this course for the families and the children and the other people that you will be working with. So I want to add my congratulations and my best wishes to everyone taking part, and thank you so much for this opportunity. It's really great to be part of the Women's Council team supporting this course, and I'm hoping to be able to give some inputs myself a little bit later on. So best wishes and enjoy the rest of your time together now. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Wherever you are, we are recording this. So I just want to say that we're most fortunate in that with your physiotherapy experience of so many years in the community in developing countries, it's going to be very, very exciting for our own team to work with you in the future. Thank you for taking the trouble and giving us your video, and all the very best to you, Rachel. I'd just like to move on. Has Francis come? Francis Moore? So I'll just move on a little quickly to our satellite hub partners. Now, one of the outcomes of this great course with 350 to 400 people in the Asia Pacific region is the fact that we are now starting satellite hubs with the help of the Women's Council. They have been asking for a long time, and we've now got our act together, as it were. And we have some exciting people coming in from the hub, 4 hubs. I would first of all like to call in Astrid Vasella and Suresh Kapli from Nepal. It's going to be one of the hubs. Astrid is from Switzerland and is an amazing person, and she's got a colleague here in Rajni Rijal, because she's also a dentist, but she gave that up long ago, but and worked in with the poorest of the poor. And Astrid and I are extremely good friends, and I absolutely get amazed at her spirit of how she single-handedly raises funds for the poorest child in Nepal. And Suresh is another amazing person who operationalizes the dream. So Suresh and Astrid, are you there?
Hello, Mitu. Hello, Mitu, I'm here.
Oh yeah, okay. So I think, is that Doris?
It is at last. I managed
Doris,
to get...
you've come. Let's give her a hand, everybody. She made it, yeah. Well, I'm very pleased again to reintroduce Lady Doris Butterworth, who's actually a renowned charity and community worker. She herself actually has been actively involved in local volunteering and fundraising projects for more than 40 years, but she's never really told me about it. So that's bad, Doris. Anyway, she became involved in the task of volunteering in Warwickshire's mental hospital in Putney. And I do think it was a wonderful initiative. So I'm sharing it with you that she pioneered and encouraged volunteers to walk into the wards and get that policy changed so that they could generate mutual respect, openness, friendship, solidarity, dignity. She did all that, and then she was invited to be chair of the National Association of Voluntary Help organizers. And she is now president of the Women's Council. And we are extremely, extremely proud of her. And just a minute, Doris, don't get embarrassed, because I'm just finishing. Yeah. Doris has also done a lot of work in fundraising and in philanthropic endeavors, and has been a supporter of the university. Of course, everyone knows that her husband was one of the most respected, illustrious, among the best vice chancellors of India. I keep saying India, so I beg your pardon, of UK, the University of Warwickshire. She is now, as also everyone knows, in the House of Parliament, and I request Lady Doris Butterworth to please give us a few words of encouragement. Lady Doris Butterworth, over to you.
Mithu and everybody there, I'm so pleased to be linked with you, to be there at this exciting time when you are starting up and expanding the work that you're doing, just at the time when the world is slowly recovering. You are expanding, and that's the most marvelous gift you could give. I admire Mithu, and I admire all her colleagues, and particularly those whom I met when I was lucky enough to come to Mumbai a few years ago now, and I actually went to ADEPT. I must say I was extremely moved, is too strong a word. I was extremely impressed and delighted by what I saw. The children there and the work with the handicapped was quite, well, rather breathtaking. So thank you all very much for expanding this. And most of all, I wish all the new students the greatest possible good fortune, particularly with the course that they're on and the afterwards when they take it all back to their own country. So my very best wishes. Thank you for inviting me to talk to you today. I do with all my heart send you kindest thoughts.
Thank you so much, Lady Butterworth. Well, Doris, we have been most inefficient because although you praised us, yeah, and it has been tough, I should tell you, to gather everyone's energy. But we've been rather inept in that we could not find the wonderful pictures of you dancing with the kids. Yeah. And I missed this great opportunity. I really feel bad about this. And you dancing with the CII students and you actually lecturing to them. And that was what was great about having Lady Butterworth. She was so with so much ease, she captured their affection and care so that they didn't let go of her, the children and the students, etc. So Doris, anyway, thank you very much for your friendship that you have bestowed through the years to Malini and myself and Sati. And thank you very much for all the effort that you all have given in your honorary capacity to adapt, to carry on the much needed work in the Asia Pacific. You have helped to at least have a presence of disability and inclusion and mainstreaming in the entire Asia Pacific region. You will also be happy to hear now the satellite hubs that have been set up by our wonderful partners. So thank you, Doris, for being here.
Ma'am, Dr. Francis Moore has also joined us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Doris. Francis, I'm so glad you could come because can I see Francis?
Well, I am here.
Oh, well, great. Well, the thing is, I just want to repeat once more that Frances has been an architect of this course. She has been instrumental in putting the Women's Council and ADAPT together. And it has been a huge, huge pleasure for us to have Frances here. And we have captured her. Unfortunately, we weren't able to capture Doris, but we captured Frances in different moods. And you will see it during the thing. But more than that, Frances, I will request you to please say a few words of message to the participants before you're called later to talk about the Women's Council. Dr. Frances Moore.
It's very, very good to be with you today at the inauguration of this new Inclusion Matters course, which is based on our big course that we run every year annually with ADAPT called Community Initiatives and Inclusion. This is the second time that we've been running the Inclusion Matters course, which, as you all know, is a course on the internet. And my very best wishes to all the students who have joined up for this course this year. It will be very interesting to get feedback from you about the course over the next 6 weeks and to learn from you all the work that you're doing. You are yourselves already doing a huge amount of work with disability and inclusion. I know, I've read your backgrounds, and you bring a lot of mastery to this course, which ADAPT has always used in developing the work that we do with you all. So very many thanks for joining us, and how pleased I am to join you and Dr. Allure and all the team at ADAPT.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moore, Frances. I would just like to warn the students a little bit and to say that Dr. Moore is quite an exacting person, I found, and she is very meticulous, so she will be very friendly with you, but she will definitely be making you run for coming here to this course. But we have been fortunate in that way to have someone like Frances with us, with her professionalism, her kindness, her compassion, and her love for the course. Thank you, Frances, for being with us. I now move on to our partners who I think you've met before, but let me introduce them. We start off with Astrid. We had introduced Astrid. Is she here? Astrid Beseller.
Yes.
So we can't see you, Astrid, but
you
once
see me?
again, Astrid is the president and foundation of the foundation Audrey Jacobs in Switzerland, and has been developing, supporting, and funding humanitarian projects. But most of all, the love of her life, I can say this, Astrid, after being friends with for so long, is Sama Nepal. And she and Suresh have done a wonderful job, and they have agreed to be partners with the Women's Council and ADAPT in setting up satellite hubs in Kathmandu, in Nepal, and all the rural areas. Astrid, please do say a few words. Astrid Beseller.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, dearest Mitu, for these very kind words. Let me say it's thanks to my daughter, Audrey, that we came to Nepal. And a few years ago, we were very lucky to start, together with Suresh Kafle, one of our main projects, Sama Nepal, which works specifically on inclusion and access to mainstream education. The next very lucky step, an essential step, and we're so grateful and feel very privileged, was to meet Dr. Allure and Malini in 2015 and start this amazing journey together with ADAPT and of course also the Women's Council through the CII and now the Inclusion Matters course. The CII course has been a fabulous opportunity for our Sama team, And we are very excited now to take the next step as the hub for Nepal. Thank you for this incredible opportunity and also for being such a wonderful and amazing friend, dearest Neetu.
Thank you. Is Suresh here?
Yes,
Suresh Kafle,
I'm
again,
here.
an architect in Nepal.
Okay. Namaste. Namaste, everyone from Nepal. Thank you very much for Dr. Mithu Alur for this wonderful invitation. It's been 6 years when we wanted to start the project with inclusive education. Actually, we had no idea who is going to work, because in Nepal, till then, there was no institution or organization where we could train or find the manpower. Thanks to Madam Astrid Bessela, who found the wonderful opportunity with ADOPT. And actually, before we have started Sama Nepal, we thought about this course and we planned we will start with this. So from the beginning, our participant started to participate the course. It's been 6 years, 18 participants so far, 12 with CII and 6 with Inclusion Matter, which is just going to be start. Here in Sama Nepal, I think we speak every day about CII and its tools or its materials, Cap 1, Cap 2, Cap 3, or this or that. So it's very familiar. It's like our one family. It's like we are in same room or same circle. So it's really means a lot for us to have this wonderful partnership, a wonderful opportunity to educate our people in this wonderful organization or course. Yeah, this is really special. At last, I would like to wish all the best to all the participants. Special thanks to Dr. Mithu Alur, who is always inspiring, and of course, her wonderful team. Yeah, we are very much in touch, and we get so much of support. Even it's not only in the training time, but also in other time. And I would like to thank all the friends from Women Council, England. This is finally, I would like to thank the Foundation Aderi Jacob. Madam Astrid Bessela is here. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Suresh. And congratulations for being the founder of Sama Nepal. I know how much it takes to really start work and operationalize it in Virgin Territory. And they are specifically in the rural areas of Nepal, in Virgin Territory and its areas of darkness. So thank you, Suresh. And we have a lot to learn. So may I just add that we are not people who will be coming onto the satellite hubs as messiahs, and telling you what to do. We are very much people who will be learning from the satellite hubs so that we can start our own work in the same spirit and in similar models. Thank you, Suresh. Thank you, Astrid. I now move on to someone who's also done extraordinary work in an organization called Empowering the Vision. It is, of course, inspired most of all by His Holiness Dalai Lama. And she is Udon Okatsan. Are you here, Udon?
Yes,
and
Dr. Allur, I'm here.
Their
Yeah.
main idea is to strengthen the Tibetan community through empowerment, youth empowerment. And they decided to work intensively with ADAPT and with Women's Council and disability. So Udon, thank you so much. Never really had the opportunity, though I've heard so much about you and you're such a great friend of so many people who are common people. But thank you for being our partner. And may I ask Udon Okatsan to say a few words, a message to the students.
Hello, good
All of
afternoon,
us.
Dr. Allur and everyone there. I'll just keep it a little bit short because I know that you have a long program and there's a lot of people who are willing, who will be talking. Thank you, Dr. Allur, Dr. Francis Moore, Malini, and all the wonderful team at ADAPT and the Women's Council for tirelessly championing the cause of people with disability and advocating for inclusive education. I think it's really important. We at Empowering the Vision Project, we have been associating with ADAPT for the past almost 10 years, Dr. Allur, if you remember, back in 2012. Since then, we've been sending at least 2 Tibetans to the inclusive education workshop. So, so far, at least 22 Tibetans have benefited from this intensive community inclusive education. I think it's very, very important, something that we need to really work on. We are very happy and excited to deepen this relationship further as a satellite hub to create more awareness and knowledge on the issue of inclusivity. I want to wish all the participants all the best, and what you learn and what you do later in the society in which you live is very, very, very important. And thank you, Dr. Allur, again for your inspiration. You know, I think you have been behind this solidly and, you know, fully committed, you know, so it's very, very, I'm very excited and happy that our team of Empowering the Vision Project, of which the director, Appa, is also here with us today. And we both are very keen that this works. And we are also happy to champion the cause of inclusive, not just inclusive education. I think we should also look at inclusive employment. Our community in exile is, as you all know, we are Tibetans in exile for the past almost 62 years. And although we have kind of worked around the, you know, the issues of disability and all, we have not been able to bring them together, you know, as inclusively. So I think we are very keen to also start within our small exile community and administration, how we can be inclusive, not just in education, but also in all the opportunities, including employment. I think that's where we would seek help from you and all the others working in the field. We look forward to working together. And all the best to the participants. I think you are going to be the agents of change as well. So looking forward. So anything you need from us, please let us know as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Udon, and thank you for being one of our partners. You will be happy to know that one of the students that you had recommended was instrumental in doing a lot of work in Bhutan. And but it came through you and all of you, you know, and now that the government in Bhutan is working very closely with the central government to make Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and the ICDS completely inclusive. It's just come out in one of the mainland papers. I'll send it to you. And I congratulate you for having inspired them and being such an inspiration yourself, Yani. We can actually have a Zoom meeting just on the partners. Thank you very
so
much.
So I hope you guys have a very meaningful workshop. Thank you.
I will now ask Sheva, who is also going to say a few words. She's a past CII student who is now no longer a student, but a senior staff member. Where are you, Sheva?
Thank you, ma'am.
But she's
good
coming from the same space as you Dano Kats.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Hewang Shunzum. I'm a Tibetan. I did my CIA course in 2019. Since then, working at ADAPT, both in the training department and now as Mischief's Assistance for Advocacy in the One Little Finger department, which was formed when a substantial amount was given to ADAPT by a relative of Mischief from the US with the suggestion that it should be used for empowerment and advocacy. I'm also working as a coordinator in charge of the new satellite hubs being opened by the Women Council and ADAPT. Regarding my hub, I'm dealing with the Tibetan community in exile. We are partnering with Empowering the Vision. And as Yudin ma'am has said, Empowering the Vision as a partner will assist us with the logistic menu and most importantly, networking with organizations in the target region who are working on disability and inclusion issues. Our past CIA Tibetan participants will help us with this. And this year also, we have many Tibetan participants who are from different backgrounds. So we are very optimistic and looking forward to collaborating with you all as well. This is one of the major outcomes of the CIA course, which the Women Council and ADAPT had been running in collaboration for the past 20 years. So we are very excited to share and replicate our experiences and knowledge to our satellite hubs and learn from them as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are indeed lucky also to have you with us, Shevan. We now ask another past CII student called Lola Nazridinova from Tajikistan. Lola is also a parent actually of a 20-year-old autistic person. And, but she has done extraordinary work in Tajikistan since 2008. And at present, she is our partner and she hopes to involve the Ministry of Education and of course, the Aga Khan University through the Central Asia University. We are delighted, Lola, to have you as one of our partners. Lola Nazrid, am I getting the name correct? Nazridinova, yeah? Nazridinova. Lola, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alur. Thank you so much, all participants. This is such a great pleasure and privilege for me to be the member of such a great team. And I'm really excited to start this cooperation, to continue this cooperation, because this CII course, which I was started in 2008, actually changed my life totally, the life of my family, of my child. And now he's a 20 years old big boy, and he's doing very well. And thanks to this course, there were lots of changes in myself, first of all, and of course, in all parents in Tajikistan who started this movement. Actually, we've been so inspired by Dr. Alur and all teachers of CII, and we started. We have more than 32 organizations of parents and professionals who are working together in inclusion and all the services in cooperation with government and international agencies to support people with neurodevelopmental disabilities and with all different types of disabilities in early intervention, in inclusion, in employment. So I'm very happy and I'm very excited to continue this, and I hope that there will be the input from myself. I would like to learn more, and I would like to cooperate with each of you, the teachers and the participants of this great course, and hope to welcome you in our country one day, all of you. So we are really excited to education and teacher courses, which we have postgraduate teachers courses, the universities, and hopefully with some international partners as well. So you all are welcome to Tajikistan, and I'm very excited to see all of you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Lola, and all the very best to you and to your son and to your work. May I just ask now, our last speaker in this item, that is Atul, who is representing Nagaland. And I think most of you know that Nagaland has been rather neglected by India. So the Northeast, has been not had so many services, but we have been very lucky with the Women's Council project in that many girls came from Nagaland, and many of them are now having important positions in ADAPT. Over to Atul, who's got a very important position herself in the training and pedagogy department. Atul.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I'm Atu, and I also did my CII course in 2019. After I completed the course, I joined ADAPT in 2020 as an assistant in the One Little Finger department. I also work in training and pedagogy and collect resources for different programs. The CII is our star course, and I was involved in assisting Mr. Swami Nanda in the English classes. Regarding the hub in Nagaland, Catherine and I will be coordinating with the State Disability Commissioner and the Nagaland State Disability Forum. The journey has already begun, and it has been a very interesting journey. We are very happy because we are coordinating with the parents and the government. We have had a meeting with the partner where we discussed the target audience, the venue, and the logistics, to which the commissioner is ready to give us full support. They are all very excited for this program because it is a great platform for our people to begin with. It is going to be very enriching, and I'm looking forward to learning and contributing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, Atu. I can just see you and Shevang and all of you, Lola, emerging as the leaders of the course and leaders in your spaces. And thank you for being with us. I'm going to hurry a little bit because we're just 10 minutes we passed the time. And ask Bhavna Mukherjee, who is our CEO, and actually to join us now at this stage, to tell you a little bit of what is ADAPT. And after that, Francis will tell you about what is really the CWC. Yes, and Bhavna, over to you about what is ADAPT. Yeah.
Thank you, Mitudi. Greetings to all distinguished guests, well-wishers, friends, and participants. I'm Bhavna Mukherjee, CEO of ADAPT, as just to be introduced, which I look upon as an honor, a privilege, a pleasure, and an opportunity. My best wishes for a splendid 2022 to all of you, and what an auspicious beginning for all of us, embarking on a journey that would spread the message of inclusion, not just in India, but beyond. Mitudi has given us a big task of talking about ADAPT in a very short time. I have to introduce Malini, Chip, who's a trustee ADAPT, the diversity officer at Tata Sons, author of an award-winning book, One Little Finger, and a firebrand champion of the rights approach and the social model. Mali, you are an inspiration for all of us, and your life bears testimony to the truth that only accepting defeat can disable you. Mali would like to share her thoughts, and we are all ears, Mali. Let's listen to Mali first.
I do believe.
I do believe we are all in somewhere of the other. We are human. And that we are not getting ourselves.
Like to be only a connection.
To be only a I will about to tell you more about ADAPT.
Thank you, Malini. Thank you. That was so you, always inspiring. What is ADAPT? To sum that journey, that pilgrimage of 50 years in a couple of minutes is a really difficult task, but let me try. In the 60s of India, neurological condition like cerebral palsy was shrouded in mystery and total ignorance. It is in such an India that Dr. Meetu Allur founded the Spastic Society of India for not just her daughter Malini, but for millions of Malinis languishing in the dark corners of their homes, forgotten by society. The organization was actually set up to answer the how-to question related to every aspect of the lives of people with disability. It led to Dr. Allur putting cerebral palsy and disability on the map of India, and we soon grew from being a school to a movement. I will charter this journey very briefly through the 10 domains as written and discussed by Dr. Allur in her book, Birth of a Nation. In 1972, the purpose was to fill the glaring gap for educational needs of children with multiple disability. ADAPT has over the last 5 decades, yes, this is our 50th year, our Golden Jubilee year, led to supporting the education of thousands of children with disability through a one-of-its-kind interdisciplinary holistic approach in India. Individual programs are developed for each child by experts. And every concept which was brought from the West was made very culture specific and context specific and very intelligently done. Let's have a look at the outcome. So right to education now included children with disability. This was absolutely enormous and fantastic achievement. And from systemic failures, we moved towards education for all. The domain of treatment pioneered the transdisciplinary approach. Now, this was very interesting, where educators, therapists, doctors, and social workers worked together as a cohesive team, providing solutions to each beneficiary. This marriage of transdisciplines has been a unique technical contribution of ADAPT to the cause of disability in India. Now, one thing was really understood was that parents were very early recognized as major stakeholders as they were the most invested. And the organizations set out to empower them. Parents and professionals now worked as partners and developed a synergy which worked beautifully. Then arose the need for trained personnel. We were now talking about inclusion, and we needed trained manpower. The first Indo-British project under the Colombo Plan was born. The teacher training course set up trained over 400 teachers in India and 350 master trainers from the Asia-Pacific region. Knowledge was democratized, and we proudly shared just a few success stories of our CII students. We have a story from Mongolia, where they went back and set up their own organization. We have a story from Tonga, and a very big success story from Bangladesh. And it's a great pleasure when we are hearing the hub partners and other participants of our previous CIA courses of saying how these courses have actually changed their lives. So it really makes you extremely fulfilled and happy and grateful. The need now was to move into the whole community approach. The whole school approach had happened. Now it was whole community approach to transform community and build capacity. Then was started the first service for children with disabilities in the largest slum of Asia, which all of you must have heard about, Dharavi. A demonstration model of inclusion in the community, wherein both able and disabled children would study, was set up. Parents were encouraged to participate. And the 3 Ds were pioneered within community settings. Demystification, which aimed at exploding myths and changing perceptions. Deinstitutionalization, where we moved out of classrooms. Decentralization, which basically was to federalize through training programs and partnerships. An experiment which was proven to be very effective, especially in the community settings. Research showed that people with disability want to stand on their own feet. They want to be economically independent. With this objective, we began the Skills Development Center in 1989. Many skills were introduced and over 400 models of employment were developed And the most important contribution was to move employment opportunities from C and D category to the A and B category. And today, inclusive employment is a major thrust area for ADAPT, and we follow selective training and selective placement. So we look at the skills, assess that, develop that, and then we try to place them. ADAPT has been a research and data-driven organization and thus rich in knowledge capital. Right from the beginning, research has been undertaken. And we have a lot of studies which actually enrich our library. It's maybe one of the best of its kind in India, definitely, and maybe in Asia. The National Resource Center for Inclusion was set up to work towards inclusion at 3 levels: the micro, the meso, and the macro. Micro level was a level of classrooms and schools called the whole school approach. The whole community approach developed inclusive services within the community, whereas the macro tackled policy, because government has a lot of rhetorics, but nothing in the name of implementation. Macro level engagement with government yielded outcomes with far-reaching consequences in the areas of political, legislative, structural, and educational. All India Regional Alliance for Inclusion was set up with partners across India who lobby for reforms and get together for all the major issues. Malini Chip set up the ADAPT Rights Group to advocate and lobby for persons with disability, moving us from a service delivery approach to a rights-based one. We share some macro level outcomes on screen. Yes, one of them was cerebral palsy became recognized as one of the 11 classifications of the government, a very major one. Education for all was the next. So we did achieve a lot by engaging with the government. We engaged with the government. There was some naming and shaming too. So it was a twin strategy, a double-pronged strategy that Dr. Alur followed. The overall impact was enormous. And this is reflected in the fact that this model was replicated all over India, taking services to the people with disability everywhere, every nook and corner. We would like to share some success stories. We are very, very proud of them. Of course, you know a lot about Malini. She's not just an author. She is also a diversity officer at Tata's. But the biggest contribution of Malini that she has been a big champion of social model. She has been the face of it. She has countenanced that movement where she tells, what she believes and she has propagated is that social model is the way to go. We are not to be fixed, but it is the ecosystem around us which needs to be changed. So she works a lot as far as universal design goes. Then we have Vipasha Mehta. She's the only person with CP, I would stress again, the only person with CP who has done her PhD, lives independently in Berkeley, California. And many congratulations to her father, Professor Mehta, who is also one of our trustees. I'm sure he would be here in the audience. And thank you, Professor Mehta, for always standing strong by us. Thank you so much. Toshan Chatterjee is an ADAPT alumni, presently employed as documentation controller at Reliance. A place under the sun, that is the vision. Yes, we have a long way to go, but what ADAPT has achieved in 50 years makes us both proud and humble. Essentially, what is ADAPT? It is a symphony ever playing. It's like a painting of diverse shades and colors. And this painting is an ongoing creation. At the essence of it all, it is a love story which magnanimously embraces millions. Thank you so much for your attention. We will now play a short film on ADAPT for you.
The Spastic Society of India was founded by a parent, Mithu Alur, in 1972 to address much-needed educational and therapy services for children with cerebral palsy and other physical challenges. That first holistic school with 3 children helped to set up similar schools all over the country. During these years, the umbrella organization has expanded its work to advocate for inclusive education, policy reforms, and rights of people with disability. Today, there is a new approach to disability. Language is very important, and now the Spastic Society of India is known as ADAPT, which stands for Able, Disabled, All People Together. The organization has expanded to include children, families, and communities. It is now moving towards the rural and tribal areas to build the first inclusive village under the Meetoo Allure Foundation.
I think in the larger perspective, what we tried to do was really to serve India, was to do nation building, was to serve humanity, to serve the poor, the oppressed in our country, the powerless, the disabled.
Thank you so much, Varsha. And I'm so used to Varsha. I should actually say 2 things. One is, we didn't mention it earlier, or nor did Varsha, Bhavna do. We have been an Indo-British project for right from the beginning, because we were in England, my daughter and I, not finding anything here. We had all our friends and supporters come here. We had, under the Colombo Plan, 25 years of support from the Overseas Development Ministry and from ODA, yes. So you must have seen Pamela Stretch, who is our physiotherapist right at the end, who set up physiotherapy for the entire country, and on whose guidelines a lot of the services have gone up around the country. I also take this opportunity to say that Varsha is rather sick, and she sent all her very good wishes to you. She's still not very well, and so is Malini. So that is why you actually saw her on the video. But thank you so much, Bhavna. In spite of all this that's happening around us, a kind of a pandemic, we've been able to come this far with the program. And now I request Dr. Frances Moore, who I said before that is one of the architects instrumental in bringing the Women's Council and ADAPT together. Frances Moore, and what is the Women's Council? Frances Moore, who is now a trustee, so I'm asking her.
Well, thank you very much again, Meetoo, for introducing me and giving me this opportunity to talk a little bit about the Women's Council, which was started in the 1930s as a friendship society for women traveling across the world. Started very much in India, so we have very close connections to India. And in 2000, I had just retired from Save the Children, where I had been working as a regional director for the Middle East, and was asked by the Women's Council to come in and look at the work that they were doing in sponsorship for women, working with specifically with young children. And over the next year, after with a lot of discussions, it was agreed that rather than students coming to the UK and having courses in England, we would support the development of regional training courses both in the Middle East and in the Asia Pacific region. And the focus of this work, because we were trying to reach children who were the most sort of left out of society, the most ostracized from society. And there were lots of discussions about the children that we should be working with. And it was agreed that disability was a very good way of actually reaching children who have the greatest needs. If you look at the world, there are four major needs for children who are most in need. They are girls who are poor, who are orphaned, and who are disabled. And if you have all those four, you are really at the bottom of the chain of being able to develop yourself in any way, in any meaningful way, to lead a good life. So the Women's Council agreed, and we partnered some work that had been going on at the Institute of Child Health in London, and developed with them and with ADAPT the CII course, which has now been running since 2001. At the same time, we developed a course in the Middle East with our partner SETI, which is Support for Education and Training on Inclusion. And we've been running courses with them almost every other year since 1999. These courses have now trained many hundreds of people, 350 from the CII course with ADAPT. And it's been our great pleasure in the Women's Council to be a partner for the development of this work. And now with the development, the next phase of the development of the hubs and the online training, we are really excited about the move forward after COVID. So thank you very much, ADAPT. Thank you for all the work that you do. It has been a pleasure to be working with you over the last 20 years.
Thank you so much, Francis, and for encouraging us in this poorest of poor areas, much neglected by India, actually. So, and I also feel with the satellite hubs, we are going to really not say that it's a just India course, you know, it's all over Asia now. So that, and thanks to you, we have been able to spread out to the Asia Pacific and have a presence there. Thank you, Francis. I think you have a short film now about CII and the Women's Council.
A lot of countries around the Asia Pacific region were nowhere as good as India, and very poor countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Tajikistan, these countries had nothing. So a very powerful organization and one of the oldest charities in London wanted to support the Spastic Society and ADAPT. And they're a very good group of people. They're sort of part of the Victorian culture of doing free service. And so they're very altruistic and philanthropic. So they chose us, and I liked them very much, their whole attitude. And that's how we started the community initiatives in inclusion with people from 22 countries for the last 16 years.
It was actually called the Community-Based Rehabilitation Course.
that was held in London. And people from the third world countries would go there and learn about coming back to third world countries and setting up community services. A lot of the women stayed on there, and there was a disconnect, because if you want to know about poverty in India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, you have to come here and see it. You don't understand it over there. So Dr. Lourdes, Dr. Wirtz, Prue Chalker with the Institute of Child Health got together and said we need to relocate the course, and it came to India and we started that.
Ladies now, for instance, Frances Maud, she's the advisor. She herself, I mean, all of them come from hugely privileged families, but they're all steeped in that old Victorian philosophy of the privileged must give to the underprivileged.
I come out to adapt in India at the end of every course for 2 weeks to discuss with the students, to do an evaluation with the students, and to be on the assessment panel for their presentations.
Skills of good speaking, yes? And so first of all, they have to learn the language, and they have to lose their fear of an audience and such a vast stage, and also to think systematically in terms of what is the thesis, and to give a brief background of their culture. Presentation is basically a theatre art.
Tajikistan, we have very, powerful women, of course, and a lot of NGOs were set up in Tajikistan, but still I want to make also some more change from my side.
Thank you, Frances. It's always sad, actually, to say goodbye to our CII participants. And every one of us stand over there in a big line, weeping away. And they also. So it's a very poignant course. It's not just a technical course, which finishes at 3:30. It's just that they stay with us, and the whole ethnographic participation is extremely important. And I'm glad we're going to be doing a research study. So I come to the next item. Frances, if you've finished. If you've finished, I will go on. Yeah. So we are running a little short, and I'm trying very hard to keep it to 5 o'clock. And the next item is the Inclusive Matters course. I'm just going to give an outline because we have a very, very good group of people who are going to be speaking about the course and their contribution. So I just, yes, the next slide, please. Just giving you a little smattering of what we're going to be doing. There are 5 clusters, as you can see. And the first one will talk about segregation, fear, prejudice, institutionalization, asylum, special schools. So there's going to be a focus on what is the impact of excluding and marginalizing people. Then we will move on to a way of bringing them in is a special school. So as was mentioned, there were no schools at all. Nobody had heard of spastic. They said plastic. And so at least cerebral palsy came onto the map and all our kids got a bit recognized. And that first picture you see is Toshan, who was only 2.5 while I was assessing him. And now, of course, Bhavna has shown you how he's gone to Reliance. And anyway, all these are just little bits of vignettes of all of them. So we will talk about special school and the need for it, because we have to remember that the participants all come from areas where there are not inclusive schools there, and nor are there special schools, nor are there schools. So we can't really go above what they have. So we will be talking about special education, what it means. We will be demonstrating a little bit through the virtual mode. And we will move on to inclusive education and why it is important and how to do inclusion in the classroom and with the teachers, etc. We will then move on to a new thing that we are now focusing, which Youth-On, one of our partners, have talked about, and that is inclusive employment, which we are doing in a big way at Skills Development Center. We will finally show them that we cannot only do work in a small NGO fashion, which will be a kind of a tip of the iceberg. We have to go macro. We've got to network. We have to have a mass lot of people. So we will focus on policy. So that's really what the course will be doing. And I will now give you an idea of the people who will be speaking. And so I will first ask Rekha Vijikar, who is one of our principals, who was first to put in a child with disability and remains one of the first principals in the country, really, who began inclusive education in a regular school. Rekha Vijikar, can you please come in?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Alur. That was a good introduction. Yes, as Dr. Alur said, I was one of the first principals to adopt this policy of inclusion when inclusion was not mandatory at all. And that is the reason, and I got introduced to this particular policy only through ADAPT. I was related to ADAPT in some way or the other. And then I used to get students from ADAPT. Certain grade.
Can the others mute themselves, please?
I had no
sorry about that.
After these children. And that is what it means. Inclusion means the doors of the school should be open to all. But that was just a concept when I got into it. But now we are much more stronger because we have legislation to support us. Now the legislation says that all children need to be accepted by the Act 2009. But it yet doesn't work unless the principal accepts it, unless the head of the school accepts it, what we call it as shower principle, unless it comes from top, down the line, nobody accepts it. So it is the mindset which needs to be changed. Parents and teachers, how to teach. There is nothing great about teaching. It is understanding a child, what the child needs. So even if you are not a special educator, don't give me any reason why I can't take your child. Learn what to find out and learn how to teach the child is special education. And when after a certain time, when we realize, yes, this policy has come to stay, but there was one sector which was still neglected. They said education for all and everybody should be taken into school without discrimination, but yet there was discrimination about disability. Children with disability were not yet allowed. But with the persevered effort of Dr. Alur and disability sector, they rectified this particular act and introduced a new act of inclusion, that is Act 2016. And so now we are absolutely fortified. We are taken care of by the law and all schools have to be inclusive. Yet, even after knowing all the rules and regulations, we still need to change the attitude of the people and get into inclusion in a big way. And I'm very happy to meet all the participants today. And I know they are quite enthusiastic about trying to find out what it is. It is very interesting subject. And I assure you all the participants that you're going to enjoy this and learn something. And at the same time, we are going to learn what is happening in your country. And so there will be exchange of ideas, and we are looking forward to that. So welcome all to this beautiful course of ADAPT. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rekha. And I know the participants will enjoy being with you because they have over the years. I now call upon Dr. Sonal Javeri, who's India-based but has over 30 years of experience in strategic planning, program designing, capacity building. She's one of the gurus of community-based rehab in India. And I'm proud to say that she's been with us right from the start and now will be actually chairing the CBR model of ADAPT. So Sonal, so nice to see you. And over to you, Dr. Sonal Javeri.
Thank you, Mithu, for that warm introduction. And it's really wonderful to meet colleagues from ADAPT, the Women's Council, the fellow resource persons, students and friends. You know, it's really a privilege for me to be part of this virtual inaugural event that kicks off the online Inclusion Matters course. And I'm really humbled that in spite of all the difficult circumstances due to the ongoing pandemic, ADAPT, with its very strong commitment and support from the Women's Council, has taken this bold, innovative step to go virtual. And when I look back to my 20 long years of association with the community initiatives in inclusion course, I recall how enriching this journey has been. You know, I've been a resource person for the course teaching both children's participation and community inclusion. I wear my hat as the international advisor of the Child to Child Trust in the UK, which is an award-winning charity that pioneered children's participation around the world and was located at the Institute of Education in London. As Mithu alluded, I have a very busy schedule because I work internationally as well as an evaluator on gender and human rights. But I'm always, always drawn to commit time to this course and to be with the students. I truly feel privileged to be part of this extraordinary community. And you know, I recall how the course organizers would call me well in advance and tell me to block the days for the teaching. So I'm really happy to be part of the faculty as we go online. And I'm seeing so many familiar faces today, and I'm learning about the amazing work of our former students. You know, over the years, I've met students from diverse backgrounds, parents, doctors, teachers, community workers, health professionals, social workers from different countries. And they all share that same passion across borders to mainstream our children with love and dignity, to advocate and campaign for their rightful place in society. And amazingly, we've got 33 participants from 10 diverse countries to do just that. So I think the commitment shown by our students today to attend this course is really necessary and critical. You know, I think of all of you as the lighthouses that we see shining on the shores of the sea, steadfast, always recognizable, representing the best of ourselves in serving humanity. And the lighthouse always shines through in the middle of a storm or on calm days. And it does not judge or point fingers, but it's there to guide the way. And so I'm hoping that all of you, dear students present here today, will be just that, lighthouses in your families, communities, in your workplaces, showing the strength, the grace, and the love while carrying the message of inclusion. And so with great optimism and hope, I wish that all the students gathered here today the very best over the next few weeks and beyond. Thank you so much, Dr. Allure, for including me in this inaugural event. and to be part of this extraordinary family. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonal. We are fortunate in having you, and we will wait for all your inspiring ideas of how we make a very technical organization into a CBR model also. Thank you, Sonal, for joining us. I now move on to somebody called Dr. Smita Desai. Is she here? She's a PhD in applied psychology and has found an organization called Drishti. Is Smita here? So, sorry, maybe she is supposed to come a little later. So, may I just request Sangeeta? I think Sangeeta is here. Sangeeta, who's been here, is completely a part of the spine, as it were, is been with us for over 30 years. So she's going to tell you a little bit of what does she do. Over to Sangeeta.
Thank you, ma'am, for that intro. A very good evening to all participants and dignitaries present. I am Sangeeta Jagtiani Vaswani, and I will be interacting with you all during my lectures on Cluster 2 and Cluster 3, which are mainly on special and inclusive education. I have been working with the organization and with Dr. Allure very closely over the past 30 years and have been associated with the Community Initiatives course for more than 10 years in various capacities. I can assure you that the course takes an only holistic approach and is going to empower you to cater and provide services to children and people with disabilities at all the three levels, the micro level, the meso level, and the macro level. You will learn immensely from all the faculty, but we have experts there, and specifically from Dr. Allure, because she will interact personally with each one of you. Make the most of your learnings, as it's a rare opportunity for all of you all. Over my 30 years of experience and with CII, over the years, I have seen a mass change in the students when they come in for the course and when they leave. There's a huge difference in their confidence levels. They're so much more confident to handle the challenges that they would face on the field when they go back. With this note, I wish you all the best and welcome you all on board and hope that you learn, gain, and move on professionally to the best of your abilities. Thank you.
Sangeeta, this is a nice opportunity for me to thank you for all the years that you have built up CII.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sangeeta. We still miss you very much. And I know that Francis joins me in saying that too. Can I just ask Reshma Tanna, who's also here with us, and double masters or triple masters, or she's head of assessment and a psychologist and clinical psychologist. And over to you, and head of one of our departments, Reshma Tanna.
Thank you so much, Dr. Allure. Good evening and warm welcome to all the esteemed guests and the participants. I'm a special educator and a psychologist working at ADAPT in the past 20 years and also lecturing on all the different courses. And in this particular course, I'll be talking on the different disabilities that are commonly seen in inclusive classrooms, the educational implications, and simple strategies to manage the same. And I'm extremely excited to be a part of this journey with all of you today. And my only advice is that be like sponges and absorb with an open mind all that you're going to learn from the interactive sessions that have been lined up for you. Wealth of knowledge and experience will be shared by professionals who have been in this field of disability and inclusion since many, many years. So please don't hesitate, ask questions, clear your doubts, argue, debate, because we will be learning so much from all of you, since all of you come from different backgrounds, different work experiences, different cultures, and different countries. And over the years, we've seen most of the participants growing in confidence and getting empowered and going on to do amazing groundbreaking work back in their organization, in their small towns, even in their own countries. And I'm sure by embarking on this journey, you too will join that small but powerful group of compassionate, selfless people who work tirelessly to create an inclusive society. So my one bit of advice is, that carpe diem, the Latin phrase, which means seize the day. So urging all the participants to seize this opportunity, this 6 weeks, you're going to be learning so much. And learn, and be like that tiny lamp. Whatever that light that you give out is extremely important. So just best of luck, and waiting to meet all of you, interact with all of you, and learn from all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Reshma, for those inspiring words. Can I just move on now to the different models of service that we have here? The first one is the transdisciplinary model, Dr. Shabnam Rangwala, who has been an architect as far as treatment goes in India. Shabnam.
Thank you, ma'am. And we've spoken about the transdisciplinary model. Bhavna has also spoken about it. I'll give you a little more detail about this model, which was conceptualized by Dr. Meethu Allur and started along with Ms. Pamela Stretch, as Dr. Allur said, 5 decades ago. Ms. Pamela Stretch was deputed to come to India and work in this sector for a year, but she stayed back for 25 years. So you can understand the passion of the two people who started the transdisciplinary model. This model is an Indo-British model, and it balanced between medical, therapeutic, educational, and socio-emotional domains. It broke the boundaries between different professionals, such as the therapist, the educator, the social worker. And we saw that people with multiple disabilities needed a large group of people to work with them, and therefore the need for this transdisciplinary model. The transdisciplinary model moved the term treatment and cure, which was used earlier, to the term management, where it spoke about long-term care for people with multiple disabilities. Dr. Allur, being a parent and the social model, placed the child and the family at the center of all interventions and gave a voice to parents' needs as well as to what they wanted for their own child. So the definition of the transdisciplinary approach is transcending boundaries of disciplinary domains to complement each other's services. And that's what we've learned, and that's what I have learned in 30 years of my service. The deprofessionalization, the deinstitutionalization, that's a very, very important part of the transdisciplinary model. But having said that, even after 5 decades of work, there are lacunae that exist, especially in the human resource gaps. And that's where this course and the need to talk about the transdisciplinary model is so important, as when we go into the field level, we have to cross disciplinary boundaries to address the child. We cannot wait for a physiotherapist, an occupational therapist, a speech therapist. One discipline has to complement each other. There is evidence-based interventions that we provide, such as home management, holistic assessments, and we continue to provide that same even in the pandemic over the last 2.5 years. This model, we set goals which are based on SMART goals that we all know about, and largely from the perspective of the parents. There is research which forms a very important part of our model, and we are continuously trying to improve the model as keep it on par with global knowledge in this area. So we can do a social audit, and that helps us to understand our services from the perspective of our stakeholders. It's been fantastic. I always enjoy this course because it's a passion, community-based, inclusive development, and interacting with Dr. Francis Moore is like a You know, it really gives us a lot of learning and with all the participants. So thank you. And I hope to share whatever little I know, but more I going to be learning from all of you all. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you so much, Shabnam. You have always been popular with the students, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy this very technical area. Can I just ask the next speaker to talk about multiple intelligence and inclusion? Coming from Chennai, Madras, she set up the Spastic Society Madras with Poonam Natarajan and Raju. Is she here? Usha Ramakrishnan.
Yes,
Multiple intelligence and inclusion, and one of the most outstanding educationists in the Asia Pacific and international area. I always admired her because I could never really go around so much as Usha. Usha did. And she's bringing with her some very, very innovative approach to inclusivity. Hear her out.
Thank you so much, Meetuji. This is indeed a pleasure and an honor. Listening to all the stalwarts before me, I realized what a magnificent course has been evolved by so many bright, passionate minds. And I can only envy all of you getting into the course because you all are in for something really great. And coming from 10 countries, well, each of you will bring in something else. I would like to share with you a bit of something which is very close to my heart. I have worked for over 35 years with persons with disabilities. I'm sorry, I'm not getting the share screen. Yeah, I've worked with many years with persons with disabilities and have learned. The Zoom is not responding, sir.
We can hear you, Usha. We can hear you. Usha, we can hear you.
Meetuji, it seems her bandwidth is low, so her internet has stopped.
So we'll probably get back to you, Usha. And moving on to one of our parents, Shobha Sachdev, a doctor. She's a pathologist, but she has a beautiful child. And she is, Deepa has opened a
Apologies, there was something wrong with the technical thing. I'm back again. I just went off my screen. So as I said, I'm going to share with you something very important. In the 1980s was the decade of the brain, and much research was done in the neurosciences and looking at potentials in totally different way. Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences has brought in a completely new way of looking at intelligences. He says it's not how smart you are, it is how you are smart. And he has postulated the 8 intelligences: the linguistic, the logical mathematical, the musical, the spatial, the bodily kinesthetic, natural.
So are we on or off? Usha?
Yeah, it's going off and I'm not able to, I don't know what's wrong. Yeah.
Yes, Usha, carry on. We can see you and hear you.
All right. Can you see my slide?
No, yes, we can. Yes.
I'm sorry, it's something to do with the other side. My thing is fine.
No, we can see. Carry on.
Yeah, so I just talk in 3 minutes about research that was done for 10 years and very much around the time when Me2D evolved this course, which is a course of the head and the heart, and this is really what it is. It says it's not how smart you are, it is how you are smart. This research is done also on children with brain damage, on geniuses, on people who have different kinds of intelligences. It gives a totally different mind shift and said we are all profiles of different intelligences. Now the point is we always tend to look at what is not ticking. What is not ticking? But the point is you need to give everybody an opportunity. Now, if this allows us to, how does it help in this course? It will, number one, it makes each one understand their own profiles. With better understanding of themselves, they will understand others better. They will understand that different kinds of disabilities carry different profiles of intelligences. It also brings in the fact of the kind of intelligences you need to be a good communicator and a good teacher, the interpersonal, intrapersonal intelligences. So it could come in very useful. It has an impact on lifting self-esteem. It has an impact for your education, the kind of education, the kind of employment we will take, the kind of recreation the person will do, taking neurodiversity into account. Main point is, typically there is a genetic potential. The person needs the opportunities for it to develop, and this is what your course is going to do. Only when that opportunity is given does the whole thing blaze. If not, it is often lost because, as we said earlier, the focus is on what the person can't do or the medical model. This totally takes a totally different ways, of looking at it. So my thing is, it's going to be interwoven into whatever you've done. It goes along the UNCRPD, the United Nations Conventions for Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which says that disability is an evolving capacity, and it's people's attitudes and the physical barriers that prevent them from reaching their potential. This allows you to find your own slot. You're not put into a box. You create your own. You appreciate yourself. You appreciate the people who are working with. And I'm sure under Meetu Dees and her masterful team, this will find its place in the sun. I wish every one of you a most remarkable journey as you discover yourselves and you make an impact in the lives of all the people around you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Usha. I'm sure that it's going to be quite path-breaking of adding multiple intelligence into all these 5 clusters. Thank you so much. Can I just go on to the next one? I'm doing it a bit fast now. The parents model, which is with Doctor, who was a doctor, but perhaps she carries on being a pathologist, not sure. But she has a wonderful daughter who's done, so Shobha Sachdev, who works with us for fundraising as well, and who has been lecturing on the course like Usha for all these years. Shobha Sachdev.
Thank you, Meethu. Good evening, esteemed guests and participant. I, a parent of a beautiful girl with cerebral palsy, is an example of ADAPT's philosophy of parents and partnership. I have been involved at every stage with my daughter's rehabilitation. Dr. Alur has made it a point to see that I am also educated, I am also trained, I am also empowered to take care of my child. And this has resulted in me being a professional at ADAPT for last 35 to 40 years. Inclusion matters. Yes, it matters, and it will matter if we involve parents in it. Parents are with their child 24/7. They understand their problems, they understand their needs, they understand their limitations, they understand their abilities. And who best to provide us with this data, ready data, for the professionals to work with the child. It makes things easier for the professional if the parent is empowered. The parent is looking at these little clues to give it to the professional to help them rehabilitate their child better. Over the 5 decades, ADAPT has involved a lot of parents. When you come into the society, you will see these examples. You will meet the parents who have been, along with the professionals, taken this job very far and very efficiently. The research has shown that if parents are more educated, are more empowered, they're more aware of the child's needs, they become a resource not only for their own selves, but for other parents with disability also. They help you to form the parents' resource group, the parents group, and take this whole process forward. Parent self-groups are very important. For me, it's very important to relate to a parent who has the same problem like mine. I feel that parent will give me more solutions. I will give more solutions to that parent. So this working with parents is always so beautiful and so helpful. If the whole family is involved in rehabilitating, everything goes so smoothly. So thank you, ADAPT. Thank you, Dr. Allure, for involving parents as a first stakeholder in our society and to empower us in such a beautiful way that we can help everybody around us. So thank you, girls. And I hope to see you all involve the parents, empower them so that the child benefits. In the end of the day, it is the child who has to benefit. So let's hope more parents are empowered through this course and we take this forward. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Shobha, and thanks for being with us also for very powerful fundraising that you do. Thanks for being so empowered and coming in to ADAPT as a manager. Last but not least, we're coming on to what is the social model which will be taught to the students by Catherine and Malini. So bear with us, I'm keeping to 5:15 because we did start at 3:15. So I hope that we are going to be able to conclude that. So after that, there's just a cultural performance. Catherine and Malini. Can we have Malini and Catherine? Bhavna, are you actually getting that across?
Yes,
are you
it
ready,
is
Sangeeta?
coming on.
Ah, right. So the social model. And what does it mean? Thank you, Malini. And over to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you, Dr. Allure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Catherine and I'm from Nagaland. I have a disability called osteogenesis imperfecta, meaning brittle bone. People with this condition have bones that break easily, which happened to me several times, and it was never at all easy for me. As a disabled person, growing up, I have to go through lots of challenges, obstacles. The early years of my schoolings were the toughest challenge for me and my parents, as I was not able to walk or stand on my own.
My parents had to carry me to school every morning. In school, I was made to sit on a special chair. This continued in my college years as not everything was accessible and the society was not accepting our differences. After college in 2017, I attended the CII course, and since then, I have been with ADAPT, currently working as an assistant in the training and pedagogy and the One Little Finger department, headed by Miss Malini Chip. Well, I will quickly take you through a brief account on the social model of disability based on Miss Malini Chip's papers. So basically, there are different approaches on disability. That is traditional model, the medical model, and social model. In the traditional model, it says disability is a curse, a tragedy, witchcraft, and miracle or God's gift. In the medical model, it says the problem is within the person which needs to be fixed, or doctor knows what the best is for them. But now we have a new model called social model. And here it says that the solution is something without the barriers that are created to prevent people with impairments and conditions from fully participating in the society. Unlike the previous model, that is medical model, here the social model view that the problem is not the disability, but the construction of the environment. Disability is not just medical condition, but the attitudes, the structures of the environment, which prevent us people with disabilities in participation and to practice what is our right. We see accessibility with inclusive attitudes. We believe no charity, but give us what is our right. So let us all come together, become strong believers in inclusion, and I urge all of you to join us no matter where you are as our partners in this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Catherine. It's much more meaningful for us to really sit back and hear all of you talk, you know, especially you who are suffering the exclusion. I'm now moving on to the last bit of the program, and that's the cultural bit. And it starts with Ninian Perry, my partner and friend from Scotland. So I think if Ninian is here, wonderful. Are you here, Ninian? Or can we hear Ninian speak through the video that he has sent us?
Hello, I'm Ninian Perry, Creative Director of Paragon Music. This is absolutely a very short introduction to the work that Paragon has done over a number of years, where it's developing the practice of inclusive music and dance. So all this is based on the social model of disability. And for a definition of social model of disability, we would say it is where the issue of disability is a socially created problem. In this model, disability is not an attribute of an individual, but rather a complex collection of conditions which are created by the social environment that disable people who have impairments. So the issue is both cultural and ideological and requires individual, community and large-scale social change. And so from this perspective, equal access for someone with an impairment or disability is actually a human right. And it's a major concern. We have to sort of create this equity. And this is what we do in our music and our dance. So we do this by using music as a tool and dance as a tool. And we work in a person-centered, person-led way. So we're responding to the will and artistic intention of participants. So rather than imposing our own music and dance on others, i.e., I want you to dance like this, or I want you to do these steps, or I want you to play the music like this, we are facilitating their music, the way that they would play, the way that they would dance, and responding to what participants want and supporting them to achieve that. So I've put this little video together. Actually, some of it was done beforehand, so there's a few clips here. It's a little bit cobbled together, and I hope you can work with that and enjoy it. But please look up Paragon Music on the internet, and you will see some of the work that we do. We have quite a number of videos of our music and dance workshops and performances. So, thank you very much. We reach out to people who have additional support needs, who are isolated and facing barriers and neglect by society. Many face severe mental health issues. Some have acquired disabilities due to brain injuries or illnesses, and others are diagnosed with a range of lifelong medical conditions, including physical, sensory, and cognitive conditions, from mild to very complex. Paragon uses the arts, specifically music and dance, as a tool to help invigorate people's health and well-being. We run programs for young people and adults who want to connect with other people, and they want to know that the right care, support, and that communication aids are in place to help them to be able to participate. Paragon practitioners are musicians and dancers who are trained in supporting people who have additional support needs, and we have a team of around 30 artists that work here in the UK, in Scotland, in Europe, and also in India. We regularly visit our friends at ADAPT.
Thank you very much, Ninen. And very short notice, Ninen came in. We were not able to show you everything on ADAPT, but I think we've got just a couple of things of our own, which Bhavna will now take over and tell you. It's not going to be for very long. Bhavna?
Thank you, Mithuti. We have a very short PPT where we are introducing our participants of this Inclusion Matters course. So we will start the PPT, and welcome to all of you, and we are very happy to have you here. Welcome to all of them. And we have now reached the last segment, the dance bit of it, the fun bit of it. Be it spontaneous steps or an elegantly composed performance, dance is an impulse and expression of joy and delight, therapeutic and healing. As a cultural slice, we present an eclectic ensemble. Our CII participants, Safarova Halima from Tajikistan and Gayatri Bishoi from Odisha, India, present a fusion folk performance followed by Mali Chip with Teresa DeCosta, Salome Roy Kapoor, and Dr. Meetu Allur, who is giving a glimpse of the artistic side of her persona. They are performing with abandon on the peppy song Love is a Blessing, and the graceful finale act is by Anushri Banerjee, a renowned Bharatnatyam and Rabindra Nritya artist. She's performing on Sanga Chadhwami, a Vedic hymn. Do sit back and enjoy.
Love's a blessing, love keeps you warm. It fills an emptiness and calms the storm. It brings you happiness, I know that's true. And that is why I bless each day that I met you. Love's a blessing, love is true. It chases all the clouds away when you are blue. So if you find a love that makes you feel this way, take time to say that love's a blessing every day. Time I see a child in a mother's arms, I see a tenderness that's sweet and warm. It shows me once again that love is true, that love's a blessing since I met you. Love's a blessing, love is true, it chases all the clouds away when you are blue. So if you find a love that makes you feel this way, take time to say that love's a blessing every day. Love's a blessing, love is true, it chases all the clouds away when you are blue. So if you find a love that makes you feel this way, take time to say that love's a blessing every day. Take time to say that love's a blessing every day.
May we march forward with a common goal. May we be open-minded and work together in harmony. May our prayers be one. May we belong to one brotherhood. May our aspirations be harmonious. May our minds be in unison. May we strive to reduce disparity. May we be bound in strong fellowship and unity. May we move together, walk together, journey together.
Love is a blessing. How true is that? I hope you all enjoyed this cultural bouquet, which we brought to all of you. And now over to Meetudi for closing the event. Over to Meetudi for closing the event.
Thank you all so much. Namaste to all the Women's Council people, Pat, Francis, Rajni, and Doris, if she's still there, Caroline. Thank you for your patience. And may I say also a big thank you to all our participants. We are really, really looking forward to meeting each one of you and getting to know you. And I just hope that you work us very hard and please ask us questions. We are giving you 1 day in between, so it's a 4-day course. And that's the day when you can work out how hard you can make us work. And thank you for coming to the course. And I just hope that you enjoyed this particular event. To the Women's Council, I just want to say that thank you for giving us this opportunity to really work with people who are deeply neglected, marginalized, and building up their confidence, their self-esteem, and actually their quality of life. So actually working for humanity, all of us, which we are doing together. Thank you all very much. And namaste once again. Thank you for coming, and thank you for all the time you have taken to come here with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for a beautiful integration program.
Yes, thank you, doctor, and see you tomorrow. Yes, goodbye.
Bye.
Everyone. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
See you.
Good job.